With the acquisition of new territories from the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, the Adams-Onis Treaty in 1819, and the Mexican-American War, as well as the strong belief in manifest destiny, also came the issue of slavery. Were these states going to be free states or slave states? In 1860, Abraham Lincoln entered the picture as the first modern Republican president. Because Lincoln favored abolition, white Southerners feared that slavery would be limited to the South, or worse, would be abolished. South Carolina started the line of secession in the South. By 1861, the Confederacy was formed. The first battle of the Civil War was at Fort Sumter in South Carolina. They refused to allow a supply ship to reach the fort, which forced Lincoln to declare war. Even after all of this, Virginia seceded, but not without its western population splitting and becoming a Union state in 1863. The Civil War was especially difficult on the family unit, which tended to be close-knit and often extended. In most families, the husband and the eldest sons were the primary breadwinners, and it was a great loss when they had to go off to war. Many middle-class families were left with only mothers and daughters to run the household and earn money to feed and clothe the family. The Civil War split families and friends. Brothers fought brothers on the battlefield. As men left for war, women had to step in to fill their place. Women took up roles as factory workers, clerks, and school teachers. As the number of sick and wounded increased, women also took on the role as nurses. Mary Todd Lincoln often visited injured soldiers. She witnessed how the nurses fought against feminine prejudice. They showed that they could do other things besides caring for their husband and children. They went to the battlefield and aided troops on the verge of death. Clara Barton and Dorothea Dix are two notable women for having founded the American Red Cross and leading the U.S. Army nurses, being called the Angels of Mercy.
After days of writing, Lincoln would make his most famous speech, the Emancipation Proclamation, on January 1st, 1863. It did not apply to any of the border states because of the need to keep them from joining the Confederacy, but it was one step closer to resolve between the North and the South. 2 years later, Congress would approve the 13th Amendment, the first of 3 Civil War amendments, which reaffirmed the rights and freedoms of Americans.
The 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendments are known as the Civil War Amendments. The 13th Amendment, passed the year that the war ended, abolished slavery. No U.S. citizen could be forced to become a slave, but who were these U.S. citizens? The 14th Amendment, sometimes known as the Great Amendment, determined that anyone born in the United States of America was a citizen of the United States. It also forbids states from denying a citizen of their right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness without due process of law. Due process is what balances out the law of the land and protects Americans from its complicated processes by requiring the government to respect a person's right. There is also the Equal Protection Clause, which says that the states must apply the law equally and cannot discriminate against people of other groups. The last Civil Rights Amendment to be passed after the war was the 15th Amendment. It states that no one can be denied the right to vote based on color, race, or previous condition of servitude.
The long-term effects of these amendments can be seen today. People of all races can be seen going out to vote nowadays, each representing their beliefs as they perform their civic duty.